Good afternoon. You are still in the Senate Finance Committee on Friday, April 10th. We're going to start with voting list number 29, but we're going to go to the back of the list on page 2 of 2, and Lisa's going to start with 4 bills. Lisa?
Which is a departmental bill that enhances enforcement provisions of the Workplace Fraud Act, prevailing wage law, and living wage laws, and increases penalties for violations of those labor laws. And there are 2 amendments. We discussed them yesterday. This hasn't changed since yesterday's.
Okay, I'm going to comment. I did hear from Department of Labor today. Andrew came in and said they would support the bill with the amendments. Can I have a motion on Senate Bill 60?
Which list? Hold on.
We're on the back.
Page 2 of the pink sheet.
Page
The
2,
back.
Lisa. See where
Page
Lisa's
2.
name is? Start with number 60, where Lisa's name is.
Oh, Senate Bill 60.
Senator Ellis, you have a question?
Thank you. So there were 2 sets of amendments we were dealing with yesterday. So which set are you referring to, Madam Chair? That
It's combined, so it's both amendments that conform the Senate bill to the House bill, as well as ones that we put in additionally from the chair at the request of the contractors.
It says Senate Bill 60, 303-625/1. It's the thicker. It's the thicker of the 2 packets.
Yeah. So it conforms.
The one that we had yesterday.
Yeah.
It conforms to the House, but then I added a couple of amendments.
Okay. So will it still conform then with the
Well,
addition?
it's going to have to go back for
It would,
concurrence.
yeah, it would have to go back to the House, but hopefully, since the Department of Labor is supportive of it, that they will hopefully accept those amendments.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions on Senate Bill 60 as amended? Can I have a motion, please? Motion favorable? Thank you, Senator. And a second? Senator Guile?
Yes, ma'am.
Second. Do we want to call the roll? Can we call the roll, Matt?
Senate Bill 60, favorable with amendment. Vice Chair Hayes.
Yep.
Yes. Senator Kramer.
Yes.
Yes. Senator Reedy.
Yes.
Yes. Senator Ellis.
Yes.
Yes. Senator Mounts.
Yes.
Yes. Senator Jackson. Yes. Senator Washington.
Yes.
Yes. Senator Guile. Yes. Senator Lamb.
Senate Bill 60.
Page, on the back, page 2. No, no. Yes.
Senator Lamb, yes. Senator Hershey.
Yep.
Yes. Madam Chair.
Yes.
Yes. Unanimous. 11.
Okay, so next we're going to do the Zolazine.
Okay, the first one is the Senate version of the bill, Senate Bill 435, which as amended designates methadomazine and xylazine as Schedule 3 controlled dangerous substances under the Maryland Controlled Dangerous Substances Act, and as amended, the bill would conform to the version as passed by the House.
Can I have a motion? And 417 is now amended to be like 435?
435 is amended to be like 417,
Okay,
yeah.
so they're both in the same posture. Can I
Yes.
do a joint vote? Thank you, Senator Mounts.
Senator Lamb has a question.
Okay, Senator Lamb, you have a question?
Yeah, what's the one line on how the bill's posture is now? My computer's still booting up. If you could just give us the one line on what the bill does now, my computer's still booting up.
Sorry, yeah, as amended, it would designate methadomazine and xylazine as Schedule 3 controlled dangerous substances under the Maryland Controlled Dangerous Substance Act.
This is 435 and 417.
Why are we doing it? What are those drugs they're at? Yeah, they're usually added to other drugs like heroin, and they don't respond to Narcan. I think they're also, the withdrawal is very dangerous and can be addictive.
The veterinarians opposed to this then, or how, where?
They were originally opposed to the bill as introduced, and then the entire bill was struck and changed to this, and the veterinarians are supportive of it now.
So who's opposed now? Because I think the opponents flipped from being proponents to opponents, right?
There are some behavioral health groups and harm reduction groups that are opposed to criminalizing these substances.
So this adds them to Schedule 3, which further criminalizes these drugs?
Yes.
I mean, I have some concerns about further criminalizing more drugs. You know, I think this is just further criminalization of a war on drugs that, you know, I think we've failed in many respects. And I'm not sure the solution here is to add more drugs to Schedule 3. All it's going to do is make those who may be using these illicit substances to switch over to a different drug and a different substance to use. And so I'm not sure that that's the direction that I would feel comfortable doing this. And, you know, it really just opens up for folks to switch to the next drug. And, you know, there'll be another next drug that we're going to be looking at again that, you know, what are we going to do? Just add more to Schedule 3 or 2 or whatever? You know, I think xylazine is really on the market now because fentanyl has been cracked down, right? So we're playing a game of whack-a-mole to beat down one medication where folks will just switch over to use another one and further criminalizing this, you know, as a result. I think it's also important to point out that this is oftentimes used as an additive. So there are a lot of folks that don't know that these drugs are in some illicit substance that they're using. And all of a sudden now they could be further criminalized because this additive was spliced into something else that they may be using. So I think there's some, you know, inadvertent consequences to this when oftentimes these drugs are just being used as filler.
Thank you, Senator. It's my understanding, we've spent a lot of time on this, that people are dying because of this added, and it does not respond to Narcan. So they can't recover people.
Just move on to another drug.
Well, I know, and so we just have to ban another drug and another drug. I mean, we can't allow people to keep dying because this drug is proliferating out there. And you're right, it's replacing fentanyl, and it's just going to continue. Senator Reedy?
Yeah, I'm sympathetic to the argument, but I think this is one that's been found to become very common and very accessible, and we're just trying to be sure that, and it does some things that not every additive is going to be able to do. I mean, I know I'm not going to convince my friend, and I understand the point. But I think there's been a lot of good work done. It passed the House, you know, unanimously, and not that means this is the Senate of Maryland, but it seems like most of the opposition has been removed. I understand the point, but I'm supportive now of where we got the bill.
Thank you. Senator Hayes?
Thank you. Senator Lamb, and I guess Senator Lamb or counsel. So xylazine is the additive that's added to other drugs to make it more deadly. Is that?
It's oftentimes additive, yeah. It's like a filler, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily to make it more deadly, but they can add it to the drug and then have manufacture more drugs with a smaller amount.
It's cheaply used to be added as a filler so that you don't have to manufacture more of other things that are harder and more expensive to manufacture.
Right. But why? But what are the consequences of it?
What do you mean?
What are the consequences of using this as a filler?
Well, the consequences of all these drugs could be death.
Right. And I'm trying to understand. I hear like we don't want to over criminalize things, but if it's causing death and destruction on our streets, why wouldn't we want to have criminal penalties to it? I'm trying to understand your logic on that.
I think a lot of folks are using, because they're using illicit substances already, they may not know that this is in it. Right? This is being used as filler. Right? They may be buying fentanyl and then getting it laced with xylazine. And so,
but even if you're buying fentanyl, you're using it. You're not going to CVS or Rite Aid to get fentanyl, right? Like you know that you're already participating in some type of illicit market that can lead to the detriment of your health and well-being, right?
well, it's no different than, you know, alcohol or cigars or, you know, this, yes, these folks know, but they're also addicted, right? These folks need help to treat their addiction, their health, their medical condition, and we're further criminalizing it, which is where I'm uncomfortable with that.
Hopefully, it's the people that are distributing it that we're going to arrest more than the user. The users are dying.
Yeah.
All right. Any other comments? All right. Can we call the roll on Senate Bill 435 and Senate Bill 417? They are now in the same
They're
posture.
identical. Move favorable on to Senate Bill 435 and House Bill 417.
Thank you. I need a second, please. Thank you, Senator Reedy. Okay.
Vice Chair Hayes.
Yes.
Yes. Senator Kramer.
Yes.
Yes. Senator Reedy.
Yes.
Yes. Senator Ellis. Yes. Senator Mounts.
I'm gonna do something wild, I'm gonna go no in committee, I might change.
Senator Mounts, no. Senator Jackson. Yes. Senator Jackson, yes. Senator Washington? No. Senator Guile?
I'm gonna enjoy my protocol committee chair.
We can switch on the floor.
Switch on the floor.
Okay. Where do you want me to go?
You went no?
Okay. No,
Senator Guile?
I'm gonna no. I have concerns from Secretary Keller about it.
Okay.
Senator Guile, no. Senator Lamb? No. Senator Hershey? Madam Chair?
Senator Hershey, these are your buddies.
Would like to.
Yes? Yes. Senator Mounts?
I like to change my vote,
I like to be yes in committee and then have some time to study it, and if I want to be no, I'll be no on the floor. I'll
I
be
have
yes.
to change my vote then.
So
It's
what is
okay,
your
we
vote?
got to 6, but now you're 7, and Senator Guile, are you changing? You don't have to.
No, I'm gonna stick with it now.
Okay, so
Yeah, well, we want to buy it.
Okay, we have 7 yes.
7,
Seven.
okay. Bill passes with 7 votes. Okay, now we're going to go to Amber, back to page 1, Amber?
I had one more.
Oh, Lisa has one more, I'm sorry.
Minority whip.
Oh, I saw it. I scratched all over the page. I'm sorry. Lisa has one more. It's the last one on page 2, the pink page on the bottom. Lisa's going to do Delegate Aarons's bill.
Okay, the last one I have is House Bill 535, which is an easier one than the last ones. It increases the annual maximum revenue for a cottage foods business from $50,000 to $100,000.
Can I have a motion favorable on House Bill 535?
Republicans, is there a motion?
I'll move favorable on my good friend from the Joint Audit Committee, Steve Aarons.
Senator Mounts, do you have a second?
Yes.
Thank you. Should we take a roll call, or are we unanimous on helping these small businesses, these small cottage industries? Everybody okay? Thank you. Unanimous vote. Okay, now we're going to go to Nathan. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
Nathan.
Thank you very much. So House Bill 771 is the first bill at the top of your list, so back to the front of the pink sheet. House Bill 771 requires each health occupations board to, 1, allow an applicant for a license or certification renewal to receive continuing education credits for completing an approved human trafficking awareness training program, and 2, conduct outreach to make individuals regulated by the board aware of human trafficking awareness training options. By July 1 of 2026, the Department of Health, in collaboration and consultation with required stakeholders, must approve the required training program. There are no amendments. There is no fiscal impact.
All in favor of House Bill 771? Unanimous vote. Thank you.
Up next is House Bill 860 that clarifies that an endorsed petition for emergency, oh, you have a reprint of this, by the way. I will be explaining the amendments after summarizing the bill more generally. So House Bill 860 clarifies that an endorsed petition for emergency evaluation is effective for 5 days after endorsement and authorizes a court on a motion by the original petitioner and for good cause shown to extend the effect of the endorsed petition by 5 days at a time for up to 30 days based on presenting behavior of the individual. So each extension has to be based on a separate motion moving forward. And so when executing a petition, a peace officer, there are 3 elements here. First, that they must act in accordance with the Maryland use of force statute. Second, they may act in accordance with best practices on how to take an emergency evaluee to an emergency facility. And then third, subject to the discretion of the peace officer and when practicable, they may be joined by a mobile crisis team. So there are really 3 amendments to the bill, 2 of which work in concert. The first one is an amendment being offered by Senator Ellis, and that would limit the bill's impact to petitions executed in Prince George's County only. And so you can see that language reflected on pages 2 and 3 of the reprint, where it says that this subsection applies only to a petition that will be executed in Prince George's County. The second amendment, unrelated to the jurisdictions impacted, is an amendment offered by the chair that expands the Office of Public Defender access to certain records. This language was provided by the House sponsor of the bill as part of her discussions with the Office of the Public Defender around the bill more generally. And so then the third and final amendment, which is offered by the chair, is found on page 4 of the bill, and it sort of ties into Senator Ellis's amendment. That amendment would require the Prince George's County Sheriff to report back about a year after the bill goes into effect on 5 items, and that is the number of individuals who've been subject to a petition under the Act, the number of times a petition was renewed under the Act, whether and how use of force was employed, the effect of the Act on public health in Prince George's County, and then any problems that have been experienced in Prince George's County as a result of the Act. And so the committee can certainly take up the amendments individually or as a package.
Start with our senator from Prince George's County with a question.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Look, I know that the senator is running in Prince George's County right now, but we still need, no, I'm joking. I would like to, if we can hold it, because the delegation hasn't sent a letter or taken this bill up yet, so we can hold it, and we ask the delegation to take a vote on the bill. I think would be appropriate.
Bill 860. Senator, do you think there's going to be a Prince George's County meeting in the near future?
Yes, we've had 8 of them today.
I love it. I love it. Okay.
Madam Chair, I just have a quick question. But to be clear, this is not for seeking, well, I guess it would be if Prince George's County just wants it solely applicable to Prince George's County. But, I mean, and then which is, you know, Prince George's County can meet and discuss whatever they want. I would think I would just be concerned about having a different standard that be applicable from county to county. These are like, this is not a matter of like alcohol law or something. There's like overlap between jurisdictions and law enforcement. I would feel, with all due respect to the senator from Charles County, I just would worry that there might be, I just don't think that there should be a patchwork for something as serious as this. Between counties. So, I mean, I'm not a fan of the amendment anyway.
Okay.
Notwithstanding the fact that even if Prince George's County did meet and had a letter of support in order to amend the bill to be applicable only to Prince George's County.
Senator, and I do think, I remember from 2 prior years, the testimony was from the Prince George's County Sheriff.
Right.
But I agree with you, and I know Anne Arundel County, our mobile crisis unit, would like to have the bill. So it's not just Prince George's. So we can take a vote as council suggested on each amendment and not try to vote the whole bill with all the amendments at once.
That's what I would prefer, if we just could take up individual amendment by amendment. I mean, I suppose, yes.
Okay, so let's start with the Senator.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. So many members of the mental health treatment community are repulsed by the use of force going into laws dealing with individuals with mental health issues. And because people with mental health issues, it's a health issue, it's not a criminal issue. And I think this bill is a precedence in the state in connecting mental health to use of force and criminality. I just want to say we've criticized so much the Trump administration, President Trump, but President Trump did something for the veterans community a couple weeks ago to separate veterans who are suffering from PTSD from the National Criminal Information Database for gun purchases. And they were placed in there maybe 15, 20 years ago, saying that, hey, you have a mental health issue that could be equated with criminality. And what President Trump did was took that out and say, no, if you have issues with criminality of a veteran, there is a way of doing that. But just because someone has certain mental health issues, they should not be placed in that database. And so we are going, as a more progressive body, place where even conservatives are separating this issue. And I strongly believe it is not right. It's a bad message we're sending to the folks who work hard for, like the bill we did a few years ago, assisted outpatient treatment. I spoke with the author of this bill, Delegate Alston, and she admitted what you said, Madam Chair. This was a really big issue in Prince George's County. And I just don't want to kind of say what Prince George's County should or should not do. If it's a big issue, the sheriff wants it, then your amendment tie in that report to see how it's going, and we can analyze that to see basically what will happen going into the future if this was a good idea. I know we've done pilot programs before about different health issues in the state. So this is basically could be a pilot program in Prince George's County. And see in the report with your amendment, number 3, will kind of allow us to see if this really work. And I think that might be a better way of approaching the issue and basically satisfy all parties at this stage. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Senator Washington?
No, I said I want to hold the bill, Madam Chair. I reject that. I retract that, and I think you're right to move per amendment or take up each amendment
Per
separately.
minute. Thank you. You know, this has been controversial. I think this is year 3. And again, when I look at the testimony, it's very mixed. It's almost 50-50. It's a very difficult issue. And I understand that people that are having a mental health crisis sometimes need the emergency petition. And it's difficult to get them there without some kind of force. But when you read all the unfavorable testimony, I mean, this is just a really difficult issue. Okay, but even if we vote for the amendment to make it one county, you still would have, if that happened, we would still wait for you to go back. But I don't know if that's how that's going to go. I appreciate that. Okay. So, Senator Ellis, you still want to go forth with that amendment for just Prince George's?
Well, the sponsor is okay with that. And so I just want to kind of like go forward. Committee can decide.
Okay. Yes.
Madam Chair, I was hearing otherwise, that the sponsor was not, but
Yeah, I was told that the sponsor's not okay with that either.
Okay.
Well, the sponsor told me directly she would be okay with this. And I spoke to her extensively on the phone. So basically, I'm being called a liar here, and I don't really appreciate
She
that.
could have changed her mind.
And so, but she didn't call me and told me she changed her mind. And I spoke with the
Let me-
sponsor
let me suggest
extensively,
this.
And I just reject that my credibility is being questioned
No.
with that statement.
Senator,
And so if we could go back and I will get a statement from the delegate that she
Actually-
either rechanged her mind and she didn't tell me.
I was
But,
gonna suggest
this
that we
affects my
hold-
credibility, and I really don't appreciate that.
I was going to suggest that we hold the bill and hear back from the sponsor and from Prince George's County. Can we do that? We just hold the bill?
I mean, yes, but if I can say something, Madam Chair.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Look, even if the sponsor did say yes to it, doesn't mean that I have to say yes to it or anyone here has to say yes to it. It's about, this is my county, and I think having a program like this would be beneficial to have whatever way for the entire state to have a program like this. So it depends on this body and what this body decides it wants to do next. So that's where I'll go. But I will go back and check with the sponsor and the delegation and see what they say about it.
Thank you, Senator. And, again, when you look at the testimony, it's a tough decision for us to make when you have professionals on both sides of the issue. So I appreciate your work on it, and we'll be voting on Monday, I'm sure, on something. So we'll hold this until Monday.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Could I just say?
Yes.
My last point was a reaction to it being said that they were told something different, which questioned my credibility.
No.
And so I will work hard to make sure we straighten that out, because
Senator, I
I spent a
don't
lot
know-
of time speaking to that delegate, and she said she'll be okay with it. So we will straighten that out.
Senator, in all respect, she could have told some other people something different. Doesn't
Okay.
mean your credibility's questioned.
Right,
She
okay.
could have answered two different ways.
Right,
So
and I'm always here to defend my honor.
I appreciate that.
My honor, my word is my bond, and I stand by it. And I
Okay.
will not have anyone question that.
Thank you. We're going to go on to House Bill 882. Nathan?
Yes, ma'am. House Bill 882 repeals the June 30th, 2026 termination date for the state's Consumer Health Information Hub, and also repeals the $350,000 mandated appropriation for the hub. So instead, the hub must operate to the extent that funding is available. There are no amendments. There is no fiscal impact, no opposition.
Thank you, Senator Kramer. Do I have a second?
Second.
This
882.
is House Bill 882.
No fiscal note.
None.
I thought we already voted for this.
I do not believe so.
Okay. Okay, should we call the roll, or can we just go unanimously to support a hub that has no fiscal note?
Colleagues want fiscal notes on their bills, kind of like that Charles Otto commemorative.
Kind of generally okay if anything repeals something, but
Termination date and mandatory funding for the state's Consumer Health Information Hub. We have a motion and a second. Tammy, will you call the roll?
Mandatory funding.
House Bill 882, favorable. Vice Chair Hayes. Yes. Senator Kramer.
Yes.
Yes. Senator Reedy.
Sure.
Yes. Senator Mounts. Yes. Senator Washington. Yes. Senator Guile. Yes. Senator Lamb. Yes. Senator Hershey.
All the time.
Yes. Madam Chair. Yes. 9-0, bill passes.
we're only down to 9 people.
Are you saying wait? What are you waiting on? Okay.
It's repealing.
The one we just voted?
It's a good building.
You think that's gonna come back?
It's it's repealing the termination date and also repealing.
You can vote however you want on the floor, and I will not stand up and call you out. How's that?
Whatever it can get.
Whatever you get with the money it's got.
Yep.
No, I had this flag too. I don't know why though. So we'll fix it later. We'll talk.
House Bill 945.
Appeals funding, can't get any more money, has to operate on the money that is.
House Bill 945 requires the Department of Health, when investigating a nursing home complaint alleging actual harm or immediate jeopardy to a resident, to notify the local health department for the county in which the nursing home is located within 24 hours after initiating the investigation. To the extent practicable and as permitted by federal law, MDH must consult and coordinate with the local health department on the complaint investigation and response. The bill also establishes a healthcare quality improvement initiative to be carried out by a task force staffed by MDH. There are no amendments. There is no fiscal impact. There was no opposition at the hearing.
Thank you, Senator Hayes and Senator Kramer. All in favor of House Bill 945? Is it a unanimous vote? Okay, thank you.
Up next is House Bill 1012, which authorizes a county or municipality to establish a multidisciplinary and multi-agency suicide fatality review team to prevent suicide deaths. So the bill outlines the membership of a local team, the requirements and recommendation for local team operations, and requirements for use of records and data. The Department of Health may adopt regulations. There are no amendments. There is no fiscal impact. There was no opposition.
May I have a motion for House Bill 1012?
Okay.
Thank you, Senator Lamb. Can I have a second?
Second.
Senator Kramer. All in favor of House Bill 1012? Unanimous vote. Thank you.
All right, the last bill for me is House Bill 1249, which is back again before the committee. So the bill specifies that the requirements established by a credentialing entity for certified recovery residences must prohibit a recovery residence from 1, refusing services to an individual based on the individual receiving medication-assisted treatment for opioid use disorder, or 2, requiring an individual to cease or modify how the individual receives medication-assisted treatment. This is a practice that's generally known as tapering. And so the bill would prohibit that. So after the voting session yesterday, there was some renewed discussion between advocates and the department, and despite the discussion before the committee yesterday about forthcoming regulations and federal protections, proponents for the bill contend that there's still a need for the legislation to protect people, and that the department, having spoken with representatives of the Department of Health, the department does not oppose the bill's passage.
Motion favorable? Question? Where are we? Motion favorable?
I must have maybe I missed the hearing here. Nathan, why would we want to regulate what these kind of outpatient providers can or can't do? It sounds like this is saying that if we pass this, that somebody who's running a home, not a home, that's not the right word, a residential facility in a house somewhere or in a commercial situation. So that right now, some of them are saying, we will take you, but you can't, you have to undergo tapering off, or you have to do some sort of prescribed system of kicking
Or
a habit.
abstain entirely.
Yes, I know I'm using very sophisticated medical terms here, I'm sorry. And this bill is saying you can't do that. Why would we sell? Yeah, just help me understand that.
So the purpose behind the bill is to protect the rights of the individuals who are receiving medication-assisted treatment for substance use disorder. Medication-assisted treatment is widely, perhaps, my understanding is that it's one of the most effective ways to help people experiencing opioid use disorder and to have them achieve sobriety.
And that's an example. Is that Suboxone, stuff like that, an example of medication?
Yes.
That's what we're talking about, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so certain recovery residences, we're saying that individuals cannot stay here if they are on medication-assisted treatment. And that would, on its face, violate federal requirements like the Americans with Disabilities Act, right? Discriminating against someone based on a disability that they may have. In this case, it would, I believe, be opioid use disorder. So the department had originally approached this from the perspective of adopting regulations that would have required these certified recovery residences to comply with all federal and state laws. The advocates behind the bill have insisted that that puts the individual who is perhaps coming out of jail or moving
Or some severe
someone
addiction.
newly sober from being in a position of having to assert and defend their own rights against the place that they are trying to live. And that
Well, wait, trying to live.
in the recovery residence.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
And so the position of the advocates is that that's not appropriate, and that this bill, by requiring the department to include as a, any of the requirements established by the credentialing entity, which is right now the Behavioral Health Administration within the Department of Health, the requirements for certification to include these prohibitions on stopping or tapering medication-assisted treatment would sort of reverse the power dynamic. It would put the certified recovery residences on notice that they cannot prevent people who are receiving MAT from living in the recovery residence.
But what, if I might ask, where do we get off telling health providers that are health specialists, aren't they the ones telling them what those, don't you go to one of these so that it's helping you to stay clean or get clean, or this is after you already are out of inpatient?
So the medication-assisted treatment is likely coming from a medical provider. The recovery residence is not the...
They're just letting you stay there.
Yeah.
Under certain rules and circumstances.
Correct.
But we're saying,
and some of them provide additional wraparound services and.
I mean, I guess my problem is, like, I know there's one in my community that does like the abstinence related, like abstinence from drugs related. You kick that, of course, that maybe is more inpatient. I don't know. It just seems weird to me that we're going to say, I don't know. I think I'm just going to vote no.
Senator Lamb taking the bill to the floor.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
House Bill 1249.
I just don't think I'm just not sure of the wisdom. I'm just not sure of the wisdom of dictating to recovery centers or to sober living homes that they have to take somebody, whether that person is taking a whole lot of Suboxone or a little, like they can't make a rule and says, well, I don't know. It seems problematic to me.
Well, then you can vote against it. Can I have a motion favorable on House Bill 1249?
What's that?
A motion favorable on House Bill 1249.
Yeah.
Can I have a second?
Second.
So this House Bill 1249 allows recovery residences to have people in there that are recovering but still on some form of medication, not illicit drugs, but a form of medication.
It specifies that the requirements established by the credentialing entity within the Department of Health for certified recovery residences must prohibit the residents from requiring people to stop MAT or to taper as a condition of becoming certified.
The taper part, Nathan's, I'm sorry, that's what bothers me. Say you can't tell somebody, I don't know, I don't think we want to get in the middle of that, but that's, all right. Sorry.
We have a motion and a second. Tammy, will you please call the roll?
Favorable, no amendments.
House Bill 1249, favorable. Vice Chair Hayes.
Yeah.
Yes. Senator Kramer.
I apologize.
Yes. Senator Reedy. No. Senator Mounts.
No.
No. Senator Washington. Yes. Senator Guile.
Yes.
Yes. Senator Lamb. Pass. Senator Hershey.
No.
No. Senator Lamb.
I'm going to vote yes.
That puts us at 5.
If I say yes to enough, what do we do?
I'll take it to the floor.
Give it to the chair. A lot of questions.
Senator Lamb, yes. Madam Chair, yes.
Yes.
Good negotiation.
6-3.
Okay,
On to Amber.
on to Amber. Hopefully, these are easier bills.
We'll see.
We're going to start with House Bill 898. It's the Decade Act. We are second on this. B&T already voted it out. So the committee amendments to House Bill 898 incorporate the provisions of Senate Bill 388 that the Senate passed while also retaining the House changes. There is a reprint. I emailed out a marked up reprint, but if you want a hard copy reprint, we do have hard copies of it here. They are not marked up, but I have a hard copy reprint if anyone wants it to look through. It'll be the same. Yes, you'll have a markup. So the provisions that were added on the House version, and they are marked in the reprint, they're notated, the changes. But there are a number of reporting requirements that are being added and altered related to economic development programs and tax credit programs under the bill. And that's throughout. There's some they're mixed in the middle of the bill, as well as a lot of the reporting requirements are at the very end of the bill on page 86, where in section 8 and section 9. But other reports throughout are also being altered. And then there's a requirement for a letter from a governing body of a local jurisdiction to request financial assistance from the Maryland Economic Development Assistance Fund to include the signatures of majority of the members of the governing body and altering certain provisions authorizing the guarantee or matching funds to be provided. So that's going to be at
I think
page.
Senator Hershey takes this to the floor. Oh, yeah.
You can have it.
You asked me a question.
Oh, we're second?
We're second. We don't have to take it to the floor.
I do commit it.
We're second.
They gave it to her. More work, man.
It maintains.
If we are second, I'll move favorable right now.
Hold on, can we come back to this before we leave? Yeah.
Hold till the end of the voting list.
Anything in there address the Bitsy issue that I have?
Bitsy is out of this bill. Bitsy is not in the bill.
They take it out of the bill, and then they don't pass the separate bill.
Right. So B&T did take Bitsy out of the bill because B&T moved the Bitsy tax credit to a grant program bill that was amended. So the bioinformation it's a tax credit for biotech companies is what Bitsy refers to.
We're going to put it back in.
It strikes expanded eligibility for an enhanced property tax credit under the enterprise zone. And those are the 4 differences that were brought into the House version. There were differences that were added from the Senate version into the House version, such as the Legislative Policy Committee requirements and the SWAMBA amendment was also added on from the Senate bill onto the House bill. There are 2 additional amendments that were not on either bill, so I want to discuss those with you at page 69. There's new language that was added to both the House bill and the Senate bill. This takes $5 million from the video lottery terminal proceeds and gives that to the Maryland Small Business Development Financing Fund, and then the remainder goes to SWAMBA. So it just takes $5 million off the top, and then everything else continues to go to SWAMBA. Sure. At page 69, there's new language added. So the video lottery terminal proceeds right now, 1.5% of them are distributed to the small minority and women-owned business account. Under this provision of the bill, $5 million would come off the top of that 1.5% to go to the Ms. Bitzfa account.
Oh, it will go to Ms. Bitzfa.
Yes, the $5 million, and then the remainder of the 1.5% will remain going to SWAMBA.
And the remaining of the 1.5.
Yes, the remainder of the 1.5% of the VLT proceeds.
Just for context, how much is 5 million of the 1.5%?
Right.
That's a great question.
That's what I was
Let me get an answer for you. Might be. Looks like it's about 27 million, but let me confirm that number with Matt.
So B&T already passed it. That's what-
B&T already passed it. And then I'm going to move on to the difference at page 78. Counsel from B&T is writing me an answer. The 1.5% of the VLT proceeds, you know approximately what that is? Dollar-wise.
No, we want it in specie. Can you tell us what it is in specie? I don't want it in dollar-wise. I want gold bars.
I'm gonna have to ask her to stop undermining my.
Last year,
30 million.
Last year, VOT revenues added up to almost 20 million is what Matt Buzzard from council from B&T is saying via Teams.
25%.
That math would track. And then on page 78 is the one other thing that is changed. There's striking language from the bill, which has the effect of restoring the film tax credit cap at $10 million that was repealed under the Senate version and was capped at 30 million under the House version. Both versions now revert to the current law of 10 million cap.
About how many motion pictures that is, I mean, 10 million go for.
I would imagine it has the production costs would have some effect on that tax credit and how much money they're actually spending on their production, and production size can, really affect that.
There's an audit on that part as well.
And there are a number of reports that they've added on tax credits, and it also requires Department of Commerce to do a tax credit evaluation under Section 9. That's at the back of the bill. Swamba and Mitzvah.
Yeah, what is that?
The Maryland, let me find exactly.
Swamba and Mitzvah.
Maryland Small Business Development Financing Fund.
And what is Swamba?
SWAMBA is the Small Minority and Women-Owned Business Account.
I don't remember this bill doesn't come back next year.
If you pass it this year,
There's a criminal penalty in here. No, it changes it from 6 months.
My questions have
5
been
years.
answered. Move favorable on the. Let's go. All in favor? All opposed?
this was unanimous originally.
I know. I didn't read it well enough.
So all but reading.
The chair is occupied.
All right, let's go. Yeah, that's it. The only no is reading.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
We on a decade there.
I know, did we take the votes?
We're about to.
Call roll. House Bill 898.
I'm gonna have an amendment.
Oh,
Yeah. I need to put the Bitsy language back in the decade bill.
Do you want the language that was in here, or do you want your bill in here?
I want my bill in there.
Because your bill wasn't in here originally.
It was a different form of Bitsy.
It was the Bitsy tax credit, right? Yours
Right.
changed it to the grant. I'm just clarifying for what the memo.
So
Okay.
there was a Bitsy tax credit for $12 million for years. I had a bill that made it 10 million, but instead of a tax credit, it was a grant. So no additional money to the state. And they took the Bitsy out because they thought my bill had passed the Senate already. It's been sitting in Ways and Means. They're too busy.
Well, then amend yours into this.
What does that mean for Ms. Bitford?
Has nothing to do with me.
It wouldn't affect that provision of the bill. Bitsy is a different tax credit that was
This
not.
appears to be the perfect vehicle.
It does.
Okay.
Do we want to go ahead and vote with that?
Tea back together over there.
We're going down to her party. We don't want to miss it.
So the language is, we already passed the bill. The amendment that we're putting on here is a bill we already passed unanimously out of this committee for a grant, and what BITSI does, it's a technology grant to fund new investment in technology in scientific areas of the state.
Can we hold it in, Madam Chair? Yeah, everybody's panicking about your amendment. The chair.
Then you need to get Ways and Means to pass my BITSI bill.
She said the Senate took it out. She said, the chair says the Senate took it out.
The chair said what?
Senate took it.
We did take it out of this bill because we had a separate bill.
So B&T took it out because they passed the. Take that out, yeah. Go. All right, the next bill is Senate Bill 880, and it's cross-file House Bill 1248. In general, this bill establishes a work group on part-time state employment pilot program in the Department of Budget and Management, and do I need my report, which I now won't longer. Sorry. Very sorry. No, you're good.
Yeah, as amended, it's a work group.
Thank you. It's a work group to study what the bill was originally intended to do and whether or not they could convert PINs into two part-time positions instead of one full-time PIN. The Department of Budget and Management is okay with the bill in its form now.
Madam Chair,
Thank you, Senator
the
Kramer.
Vice Chair's happy to second it.
Senator Hayes. Actually, we heard from Budget and Tax Secretary Weissman supporting this change.
Yes, yes.
So if I can have, can I
They would
have
be
a vote?
both favorable as amended on both.
Favorable as amended, Senate Bill 880 and House Bill 1248.
Hey, my bill's gonna go in the rules to die. I'm working to get the
What have you
delegate bill.
got?
Let's call the roll, Tammy.
It's the amendment.
What?
What do you need?
Senate Bill 880 and House Bill
No,
1248,
that's already been
favorable
moved
with
and
amendment.
seconded.
Vice Chair
Need to vote.
Hayes. Vice Chair Hayes,
What bill
yeah.
Oh,
is
this
this?
is Kramer.
Senator Kramer,
880,
880.
you seconded it.
Yes,
Yes, Senator Kramer.
I was coerced.
Can we do both at the same time?
We are doing both.
Okay,
Yeah, this is
both
both.
bills the same time.
Time. Senator Kramer, yes.
Yes.
Senator Reedy? No.
Yes.
Senator Mounts? No. Senator Jackson?
Yes.
Yes. Senator Washington?
Yes.
Yes. Senator Guile?
Yes.
Yes. Senator Lamb? Yes. Senator Hershey? No. Madam Chair?
Yes.
Yes. 7-3, bill passes.
Yeah, work group on IT that we haven't even started yet. How's that last year?
Yeah. Okay, the next bill on your list is the Economic Development Prince George's County Sweetland Development Authority. The bill establishes the Sweetland Development Authority in Prince George's County as a body politic and corporate and an instrumentality of the state to generally promote the revitalization and economic development of the communities along the Sweetland Road and Silver Hill Road corridor in Prince George's County. It delineates various express powers, establishes related requirements for the authority, and outlines the applicability of various existing provisions of state law. The bill also establishes the Sweetland Development Authority Fund to be used for certain purposes. And as amended, you do have a reprint here, House Bill specifically I was working off of is, thank you. Yeah, we do have a letter from the Prince George's County delegation. It's a local bill.
Okay, so we have Senator Giles favorable, Senator Washington is second. All in favor of Senate Bill 552 and House Bill 1452 for Prince George's County. Everybody in favor of the Prince George's County Economic Development? Unanimous vote. All right, so do we have any answer on my Bitsy bill? All right, we're gonna hold the Decade Act. We had a motion and a second. I wasn't sitting at the table. Who made the motion on Senate Bill 898? House Bill 898?
Senator Hayes,
Will you withdraw your motion, please, Senator Hayes? Who had the second? Senator Gile? You're withdrawing your second? Okay, we're gonna hold it. We may be voting on Monday. Okay, we have concurrences to do.
Yep. We're holding it for amendment. It's on the back.
Oh, I'm sorry, I wrote something on it and thought we'd already voted. 1433?
We were gonna hold for amendment.
We're holding it for amendment. No amendment?
Oh, Senator Mounts wants to
Do you
hold
have an amendment?
it defines the supervisory employee as.
This bill, thank you, Madam Chair. I'm the crossfile of this bill. We've heard this bill. It's a really great bill. It moved from the House here. The Senator Jackson has withdrawn his potential amendment, and I think it's a really important issue that I think we should move forward on. I would like to move it.
Thank you, and that's a motion.
Second.
And we have a second. Senator, did we vote it? We heard it. Did we vote it here?
We haven't voted here, no.
We didn't vote it here.
No.
So why are we taking up the
Yes.
Senate bill?
It does.
Yes, it
Because
does.
it's in rules.
So we
There
have-
is unfavorable testimony from the Baltimore County Community
Yeah.
College and the Maryland Association of Community Colleges.
So all the association that represents the community colleges.
Thinks it's unfavorable. How you said?
That is the testimony, yes, in the file.
Great idea then.
Senator Mouse?
This bill for my two community colleges have both contacted me. They both sent me emails, and they say this is completely unworkable for them. It changes titles, it reorganizes the complete structure of the way they operate. There are new interpretations with federal law and the way they're situated, and it for them is completely unworkable. And they've asked at least our office to do whatever we can to make sure that this doesn't move forward this year. So I just wanted to share that with everybody. That's Warwick and Chesapeake Community College.
Thank you.
Can we amend those out? We're amending out counties or putting counties in places. It doesn't work for these.
It's not, yeah, it's really tough. I mean, there's the economy of scale at these smaller community colleges. I got one too. It's like, it's really, like, this is supervisory too. I mean,
Very different than Montgomery Community College and Prince George's.
it really hurts. And that, they're having to foot the bill for a lot of stuff that it's just bad. Trying to keep college affordable.
This doesn't change college affordability.
Oh, come on.
If they have to pay more,
Here we go. House Bill 1433. I'm going to look at the testimony. The Maryland Associations of Community Colleges was unfavorable. The Community College of Baltimore was unfavorable. And that's the only unfavorable. Well, the Maryland Association speaks for everybody.
Before, it just replaces a definition that was inadvertently deleted from Maryland law in 2023. We're just fixing what the law was prior to 2023 in this bill.
I can tell you what the testimony is if you'd like. The testimony from the community colleges is that this definition doesn't align with the National Labor Relations Act, which is what they would like the definition to align with.
My understanding is that there were deans that can no longer be deans, and there were chairs that could not be chairs. And my understanding was there were people in positions of being deans that could no longer be deans.
And yes, that's to the, what a supervisory employee does not include. They do not, they think that those employees are supervisory employees, so they disagree with this definition of excluding them.
And then you have department chairs that would become deans. Is that correct?
Well,
So what's the
they were
difference between a
saying they would
dean? What's-
need to have a level in between certain, they would have to hire a whole level of supervisors in between to make sure they had the proper delineation between what a supervisory employee is based on this definition. That is just, I'm conveying what was testified to. I can't speak much further.
So you got a dean and you have the department chair, and they'd have to hire another layer in between the dean and the department chair?
That is the testimony we received. I do not know if that is factual or not. That is just the testimony that we heard.
Madam Chair.
I'm sorry, Senator Kramer. Senator Washington was next.
Okay.
And then we'll come back to you, and I'm reading the testimony which matches what Amber's saying about it's a significant policy change, but Senator Washington?
Yeah, look, I noticed some questions about the fiscal note. The fiscal note also says it is not anticipated to materially affect local community colleges' revenues or expenditures. According to the fiscal note, it says that. It doesn't require the colleges to hire new employees either. It does not create any new rights for employees or give collective bargaining rights to anyone who does not already have them under the community college's collective bargaining. So no one's moving from one place to the other under this bill. This is simply administrative, where they want to make sure that that we're creating the need for a clear standard to determine whether in any particular case a department head falls into the latter category, That's it. I mean, there's other testimony in there too. So I just don't believe that, it costs any money, and it's not going to add new people to the union at all. It's just making sure it's clarified who's the supervisor, who is not the supervisor. That falls under. And I'd urge us to continue to vote for this bill.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Kramer's next.
I was just going to ask, Madam Chair, I see Denise Riley is here with the AFT. I just thought maybe I'm getting a look like that's probably not a good thing.
Well, it's 20 of 6, and we have how many concurrences to go through?
The whole list.
We have a whole list of concurrences.
I just thought maybe we could get some
Senator Hershey?
legit info.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I mean, just, again, we've seen a number of different things get segregated out and moved away. I think if there's, if Prince George's County wants to do it, or if Montgomery County wants to do it, we can do it that way. But you don't have to go against the entire association that, yes, we rely on fiscal notes, but at the same time, sometimes they're not accurate. And I would probably err towards the side of the association that represents all of these community colleges, and they seem to have serious concerns over this and the cost of it and the hiring of it. And our colleague, on the Eastern Shore, we're getting letters how detrimental this will be to our community colleges, which we rely on very heavily. We don't have a lot of, state colleges and private colleges on the Eastern Shore. So we rely very heavily on our community colleges. And if this is going to be something that's going to increase spending, increase costs,
It didn't say it's increasing spending, Senator.
didn't say it didn't.
The fiscal note does not
We
validate
are
that assertion.
We are saying that there might be a difference between the fiscal note and the letter of opposition that came from the association
It is definitely.
that represents them. So, I mean, we flip a coin to decide which one we're going to believe.
I'm looking at the independent fiscal note.
Well, I'm looking at the association that probably deals with these types of things every day
They've
rather
got an
than,
interest.
Denise, can you, very quickly, because we have 16 minutes and we've got to leave here.
Yes, this will not cost them anything
Please
because.
sit down.
Oh,
with the
sorry,
microphone.
right.
Thank you. So why does the fiscal note say it doesn't, but the letter from the community colleges says that there's a difference in supervisors and it represents a significant policy change to community college collective bargaining? Why is there such a difference?
Because they don't understand, MAC does not understand what this bill does. What it's saying is, it will just define what a supervisor is somebody who can hire or fire somebody. This will save the community colleges because they will not have to keep going back to the PERB and taking up each case when everybody wants to be in the union and they say, oh, well, we want to fight you on this. And they'll say, you have to take it with the PERB. So what's going to happen is if you become a supervisor, you can hire or fire somebody, you're out of the union. That's it.
You would be out of the union? Okay, I got it. Thank you. Last question from Senator Mounts, and then we're going to take a vote.
I'm ready to vote.
Okay, you ready to vote? Do we have a motion on this one? Yes. We had a motion and a second. Madam Tammy, please call the roll.
House Bill 1433, favorable, Vice Chair Hayes?
Yes.
Yes. Senator Kramer?
Yes.
Yes. Senator Reedy?
No.
No. Senator Mounts?
No.
No. Senator Jackson?
Yes.
Yes. Senator Washington?
Yes.
Yes. Senator Guile? Yes. Senator Lamb? Yes. Senator Hershey?
No.
No. Madam Chair?
Yes.
Yes.
Senator Gazzoni?
7-3, bill passes.
Yes.
Will you start the concurrences?
Can we start the concurrences?
All right, where are we now?
We're going to start with the concurrence list on the blue sheet.
Blue sheet.
Did the chair already?
Yes, she knows what we got, yeah.
I was looking to see, these are done.
All right, so I'm gonna start and go through mine, and then we'll go to Lisa's. So the first one on the list is Senate Bill 233, which, as passed by the Senate, as a reminder, prohibits a registered cemetery and permit holder or an exempt cemetery owner from selling or transferring a cemetery in whole or in part to another person without the approval of the Director of Office of Cemetery Oversight. The House amendments, however, strike the bill and replace it with a combination of two House bills, House Bill 892 and 893. A motion not to concur in those amendments would be appropriate as it strikes out the process that's the Senate created through the Office of Cemetery Oversight, takes out exemptions the Senate committee had added, and does a number of other things the Senate committee did not wish to concur in. Move to not concur. Not concur.
Not concur?
Move to not concur, please.
Okay, move not concur, Mr. Chair.
233.
233.
Is there a second? Second. Yeah, roll call.
Concur or not?
Not concurring for the cemetery bills from,
Okay, we already knew about that.
yeah.
Okay. What's next?
The next is Senate Bill 438. The House amendments to this bill are technical and conforming, and they match the House bill as we voted it out of committee early this week or late last week. This is the self-service storage facility rental agreement notice provisions and canceling the rental agreement and being able to remove that person's stuff if they don't come and get it after notice.
So we have
Motion to concur would be appropriate.
a motion to concur. Do we have a second? Second. All in favor of the motion to concur on Senate Bill 438? We're fine. Okay, next one.
Whatever Senator Jackson wants.
That's right.
This, we're going to skip, we can go to Senate Bill 582. This is Consumer Protection Unsolicited Loans, which generally prohibits a person from sending a check to an individual if it is sent in connection with an unsolicited offer to extend credit. The House amendment adds an exception for certain offers regulated by the Federal Fair Credit Reporting Act, specifically a pre-screened firm offer of unsecured credit subject to the FCRA regulation. A motion to concur would be appropriate.
Motion to concur? Okay. All in favor of Senate Bill 582? Okay, unanimous vote.
And finally, for me, Senate Bill 783 makes a technical amendment. There was an "and" that was inadvertently left in the bill.
What does Senator Jackson want? Second.
All right, all in favor of the concurrence on Senate Bill 783? Got it, okay. Now we're going to go to Lisa.
Yep, I just have one. It's Senate Bill 469, which reduces the cap on assessment allocation percentages for the private passenger auto division that the Maryland Automobile Insurance Fund is authorized to issue against motor vehicle insurers in the state, and authorizes MAIF to implement an affordability program. Well, the amendments make a technical correction to the purpose paragraph, so I'm assuming it's a yes.
All in favor of concurrence? Okay.
All right. Home stretch, 2 more to go. House Bill 769 is back with a question about whether the Senate will recede in its amendments to the House bill. So this is the bill that requires the Board of Social Work Examiners to issue a provisional license to practice social work to applicants who haven't passed the exam yet. The cross-file Senate Bill 18 is already at the conference committee stage, so a motion to not recede and to appoint conferees would be appropriate.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor of the not recede?
And to appoint conferees.
Okay.
Same conferees as
Got
for
it.
Senate bill.
Thank you.
Great. Next and finally is House Bill 1118. House Bill 1118 requires certain healthcare providers to screen for perinatal behavioral health conditions. Certain carriers and Medicaid must provide coverage for such screenings. The Senate amendments conformed the House bill to the Senate bill and then added a provision in the form of a floor amendment allowing a parent of a stillborn child a refundable credit against the state income tax. So the House has asked for the Senate to recede, but has appointed conferees. So in this situation, I understand that a motion to not recede and appoint conferees would be appropriate.
So moved.
All right, all in favor? Got it, thank you.
Madam Chair, may I pass?
We're going back, we're going to vote the Decade Act. Don't leave yet.
Oh, okay. Well, there was a House bill that I spoke to Amber about earlier, and I don't know whether she had a chance to mention to you. I was just trying to get it out of the way because
I think we have a resolution on my question with the Decade Act, so if we can, we're going to vote the Decade Act, which is House Bill 898.
Move favorable on House Bill 890.
second.
All right,
As
all-
amended, correct?
It is as amended.
Are Senator Reedy, Senator Hershey okay on the Decade Act? Or would you?
As amended?
Yes.
As amended.
I'd like to reduce that to no.
Okay, Tammy, will you call the roll?
We are not doing that yet.
Okay.
I don't know what they're doing.
I'm sorry.
Tammy's calling roll.
We think it may be resolved, it may have been resolved in the Bertha. I'm sorry, I'm tired, in the Bertha. Thank you. You might hear me on the floor if it's
You got a
not.
little brown stuff.
Are we taking a roll call?
Hershey's not okay. We need a roll call.
Guys, come on. Tammy, are you calling the roll?
Yeah, is it favorable with amendment? Correct.
Yes.
Okay,
It's a party vote.
all right. House Bill 898, favorable with amendment. Vice Chair Hayes?
Yes.
Yes. Senator Kramer?
Yes.
Yes. Senator Reedy?
No for me.
No. Senator Mouts? No. Senator Jackson? Yes. Senator Washington? Yes. Senator Guile? Yes. Senator Lamb? Yes. Senator Hershey? No. Madam Chair?
Yes.
Yes, 7-3, bill passes.
Senator Washington, thank you for staying for that vote. Okay, now, Senator Kramer, you had one more thing.
House Bill 103 through real fast before we part ways.
What's House Bill 103?
Amber?
House Bill 103 prohibits a consumer contract from waiving, limiting, impairing, or disclaiming statutory or punitive damages authorized by federal or state law and from setting a shorter statute of limitations by contract than otherwise allowed under law.
And the amendments have taken away all opposition, is that correct?
That is what was conveyed to me. We haven't had a hearing on the bill as amended, so I can't confirm that, but that's what's been conveyed to me, that this addresses the unfavorable testimony. It does exempt storage facility contracts. It,
Who is the sponsor of House Bill
and
103?
this is from Delegate Stewart.
So this is the language from
We had a hearing. And my understanding is the amendments took out the opposition to it. I'll move favorable, Madam Chair.
Okay. Senator,
Second your motion, Senator.
we can add to voting list, particularly when it's 2 days before crossover, or before the end. Okay, can we call the roll?
Call the roll.
Yes.
Okay.
Favorable with amendment.
HB 103.
HB 103, favorable with amendment. Vice Chair Hayes?
Yeah.
Yes. Senator Kramer?
Yes.
Yes. Senator Reedy?
No.
No. Senator Mouts? No. Senator Jackson? Yes. Senator Washington? Yes. Senator Guile? Yes. Senator Lamb? Yes. Senator Hershey? No. Madam Chair?
Yes.
Yes, 7-3, bill passes.
This was the end of the voting session. Tammy, will you turn us off?